when I think about, how to administer state interviews, there's so many different ways that it could be done, whether it's a small organization and everybody can participate, or if there's a strategic approach to perhaps surveying a couple of the most recent hires and then maybe some of your longest tenured team members, right? So you're getting different perspectives. But I would recommend asking are things like, what makes you stay at this company? Like, what are some of the things that you value the most? And then also asking questions like, what would make you leave? And taking close note to what's important to these team members are going to help design what you may be offering that's no longer valued, or what you're not offering that is valued. And again, the idea is creating a plan, a path forward with like how to tackle these items before they actually do leave.
A stay interview essentially is a trust building exercise. It's a trust gauging exercise because you're going to see how forthcoming someone is on your team. But it's a trust building exercise because after the interview is over, you've got work to do to put things in motion that reflect to the employee, hey, what I disclosed was important enough to be considered, and my opinion matters.
When we were talking about this just a couple of months ago, we were having conversations about things that small businesses might be able to do to attract more talent, right? Because the war for talent was so fierce. And one of the suggestions that we had was, if you're not currently offering remote work and you can, and you've, really held off on doing it up until this point, that's definitely something to consider doing. And I think this is just another testament to the same, that, there is such a demand for these remote jobs. And now the supply is becoming smaller. If you're, again, still competing for that top talent, I think one of the takeaways from this article is that you're going to have a much larger talent pool to draw from. So I think that's the nugget of info that I took away. But I was really actually surprised to see that as companies are having team members come back into the office, that there's still so much of a strong demand for those remote positions. I thought that there was going to be a segment of population who was looking forward to getting back into the office. I think that's still true, but I didn't expect such a shift to actually stick like I think what we're seeing now.
Yeah. And I think it has to do with once an employee has seen better, I think they want better for themselves. And I won't give a value judgment of whether in person is better than remote for every person. I think there are different folks who thrive in different environments, and obviously different jobs that require different environments. But for those who have experienced maybe the fully work from home or the hybrid environment, and they got a taste of it, and now that has been disrupted. Yeah, I mean, I talk to my friends all the time who are like, man, you couldn't pay me to go into the office anymore, because they have appreciated being able to remote in and work with their colleagues over video chat and collaboration tools. So it'll be an interesting sort of microeconomy that plays itself out and just makes it one more variable to the whole talent attraction and retention, puzzle that we as employers are always just navigating. I mean, here at Jumpstart, we're all remote. We're not building a daycare center, right? So, what are some of the things that teams like us who are remote or small or don't have the big budgets like the Fortune 500s, what can they do to bring some relief to parents and use it as a retention strategy?
Wait, you said we aren't building a daycare center? You must have missed that meeting, Joey, that we had that said, since we have a lot of employees in the greater Maryland area, and that since Joey has small children and also a nanny, that we were just going to start it at your house.
See, what happens when goes on vacation, you miss meetings, and now you gotta follow through with the team decisions. All right. So what are some of the things that what are some of the things that businesses can do, if small businesses, mid-size, what can they do? What are you seeing where there can be some relief to working parents?
One of the options that's moderately expensive would be a childcare stipend. And so these can be direct payments that come to the employees based on any amount that the company chooses. Or another idea is actually the company subsidizing some of the childcare with specific childcare centers. So I seem to recall, again, when my kids were in preschool, that there were a couple centers near where the main headquarters that I worked for was located. And they had negotiated discounts for our employees. And then that employer would also offer a small subsidy. So there was a real incentive for employees to utilize that center, both in proximity, discount, and subsidy. So that's one option. And some of the expenses that companies may plan for in terms of amount is, if you were to do something like this, the spend is approximately $10,000 per employee per year. Definitely not cheap, but if you think about, if you have some very high performing employees or teams within your organization, not all of them are going to need this, but if you could afford $10,000 to keep them, one, in the workforce, and two, within your company, that could be money, definitely well spent.
Yeah, not only well spent, well invested, because I think about being a parent, and if I know that my employer is contributing to the peace of mind of my kids, that gives me peace of mind. I'll likely be more productive, and I'll likely, have less call offs or less days, kind of being, present at work but not mentally there because something's going on. So it really is an investment. The other thing I think too is when you think about that $10,000 number, and there's also the dependent care FSAs, which is a whole nother thing that's more structured and has tax benefits. You're not paying that all at once, and so it's a incremental thing that you'd be able to do. So I see it as an investment, a strategic investment in securing great talent and attracting great talent too. It's something that can go on a job description.
I love that you refer to it as an investment because I do think that that's the right way to approach it when you think about the mindset and the value that spending this type of money from a business standpoint really should be viewed.
One thing that I see with clients that we work with, and even just Summer, I'm sure when you're out and about with friends or folks that may be hiring, there's always that, back in my day, we did 7 interviews, and we had panels, and we really had to get the recruit through the ringer. I even think of that saying, hire slow and fire fast. I think now we have to revisit that hire slow and fire fast to say hire efficiently, train effectively, and then fire when there's no chance that the person's going to work out. So now part of it is, getting the right people and getting to the right person quickly, but then realizing that there's a responsibility you have as a hiring manager to train, develop, and coach your way of success, and making sure that the hire works out.
That's solid advice. And I would also say that when we think about some of the things that can help fast track the interview scheduling process, I would say one of the kind of older school practices is, well, we really want to see more than one candidate because we don't know how they compare. And I'm here to say that that approach is going to put a company at a serious disadvantage because you're looking for the grass to be greener, or you want to see if the grass is greener. And I'm going to say that also that if that's your approach, your grass is going to probably die before you have the chance to see if the other option is greener.
I gotta get on my soapbox here because that is such a big pain point. And I wanna make it clear for those who are paying attention to the show, and you're paying attention because you care about a great experience. Otherwise, a show about HR wouldn't even be of interest to you in the first place. But your comparison when you're evaluating candidates, you're not evaluating them to other people. You're evaluating them to the job description and the culture of your organization. So it doesn't behoove you to, wait until you get all candidates and then you want to see some more and then you want to date some more. No, you want to find the person that best aligns with the job description, not the one who dresses better than the other or communicates better than another or has a degree from this school versus that one. No, you're aligning to the job. You're aligning to the job, the job. So I got to get off my soapbox, but that is something that if I see a client try that approach, like, oh, we're gonna be here for a while because it's not gonna work, and the best candidates are gonna be gone.
Yes, and it always pains me when when we actually have to uh, kind of watch this happen before maybe a client or a hiring manager is willing to trust that what we're saying is true. But sometimes that's kind of the way that it might go.
If you are in tech, it's a great time to start that side gig. It's a great time to launch that business. It's a great time to reach out to companies that have a tech need on a fractional basis, because with the economy resulting in less jobs being offered to tech talent at these bigger corporations, they still have tech needs and they still have niche requirements. So there's a quote from the article that says that the number of job postings for software developers on freelancer.com, an online freelance marketplace, rose 54.7% in the third quarter on a year-over-year basis. That is the sharpest gain among more than 2,000 job-related skills tracked on the platform, freelancer.com reported this week. So if you are in tech, if you are looking to get into tech by way of a boot camp or training or classes or going to school, start that company now and start offering your services now. You don't have to look towards becoming employed. You can go to sites like freelancer.com or Upwork or Fiverr or wherever you feel comfortable showcasing your skills, because there's a huge need. I can tell you, in our company, we are in the process of updating our website. Well, in order for us to tackle that project, we're not going to be cranking out new websites every year. So we're going to be partnering with a freelancer who will produce the website. So there's web development and web design. We're partnering with some freelancers who can come in for the project and get it done. At IBM, the article says that 50% of their U.S. job offering do not require a 4-year degree, and that's a big change. But what we're seeing with folks in the small business space, maybe they're used to, what recruiting looked like and what hiring looked like when they were a hiring manager working at a company, and the level of scrutiny that you could have, and the ability to almost, catch and release with the expectation of, oh, a better fish will come along. You like how I threw that the fishing reference in there. But now it's almost like you have to bring somebody to the dance and teach them how to dance. because you otherwise may not get the right candidate that you're looking for at the right price point with the right timing. And so, yeah, big businesses are doing it like IBM. Small businesses have to adapt as well and start thinking more about the training and development pathways that you will have for someone as opposed to getting a ready-made candidate off the street.
Agreed. I'm really curious to see what this looks like 5 to 10 years from now, because with as much change as I've seen in, the last 20 years, but most specifically the last several years, I mean, there's been so much change that I don't think anybody could have predicted, expected, or planned for. And now I kind of think about things a little bit differently, especially because I have kids who are either in college or going into college soon. And it makes me wonder, like, what is the value of a college degree going to look like 10 years from now? Do I think that it will still have tremendous value? I do. But I think the reasons that individuals will be pursuing them will have to be different.
Yeah, Summer, I don't know. I think there's so many variables into what work is going to actually mean and who is working and even what's working with AI and machine learning and bots that maybe there will be particular industries that are um, education proof, right? Like get your degree to do these fields. But then there are others that are going to just be, go to this trade school, learn how to manage the robots that are doing the work, and set yourself up for success. So it'll be interesting. I think there's a long road ahead. But for where we are right now, employers, managers who are out there listening to this conversation, hire that person and coach them along the way. So if you're looking for a sign, this is it. Hire and train.